Hey there, this is your teacher, Mr. H, and you're watching History in a Hoodie. Today's episode is about economic growth, where we will learn all about how different countries approach making more money. I can't wait to find out, so let's get this show started. What are we learning about today? The standard for today's lesson asks the students to describe factors that influence economic growth, including literacy, entrepreneurship, natural resources, and investments in human capital and capital goods. Before we start, let's go over some vocabulary for today's lesson. GDP per capita is the wealth of a country divided by its population. Standard of living means the degree of wealth and comfort available to a person in a country. Literacy rate is the percentage of people in a country who can read and write. An entrepreneur is a person who takes risk to start up new businesses. To invest means to spend money to start or grow a business. Capital goods are items that are used in producing other goods to be sold. Human capital is the skills, knowledge, and experience possessed by workers. Let's return to our fictional island nation, Pine Moria. We have big plans for our tiny country. I want it to be a major trader internationally within the next few years, and I want to significantly increase the GDP per capita to make my people happier. Right now, the GDP per capita is about $15,000 per year, or 13,500 Hofbucks per year, which means that pretty much everybody living on my island is poor. I want to change that, so I'm going to have to make some economic decisions that will improve the per capita GDP, both in the short term and the long term. I have 5 ideas that I'm hopeful will result in more money in my citizens' pockets. Improving literacy rate, encouraging entrepreneurship, taking advantage of natural resources, and investing in both human capital and capital goods. Why are you sent to school? Because the best educated people get the best paying jobs. Did you know that the day you graduate high school, you earn a piece of paper that says you are now worth at least $30,500 per year? That's a $10,000 raise over not having a high school diploma. Pretty sweet if you ask me. When you earned that diploma, your standard of living increased because you had more money. And with that money, you could spend it on better living spaces, healthier food, medical visits to check on your health, or getting more education. If a high school graduate earns at least 30 grand, a college graduate earns on average $56,000. Another huge raise for improving your education. In economics, we recognize that education, measured by literacy rate, is connected to a country's standard of living. The more educated people in a country, the better living in the country is going to be. Entrepreneurs are people who take significant risks to start up a new business. Entrepreneurship is an important quality to encourage in a country because most economic growth comes from new startup businesses that become successful, rather than existing big businesses that make tiny gains each year. Starting a business is difficult because it can mean losing everything if the business fails. So it is helpful if the national government support new businesses with loans and make creating the business easier. An entrepreneur with a dream and an idea should never hesitate to start their business because the government is making them jump through hoops. Of all the ideas I've presented to jumpstart an economy, natural resources is really the only one we have no control over. Natural resources are like the lottery. Either you win big when you discover a rare and valuable resource within your borders, or you are stuck with nothing. And there is little a country can do to get more natural resources, unless they're planning on invading another country for resources, which never ends well. See Japan in World War II. There's an old business saying, you've got to spend money to make money. This is the idea of investment. Capital goods is one area a business or a country may decide to invest in. Capital goods are the things you need to make things. Whatever tools, technologies, machineries, factories, etc. that go into making your product are your capital goods. If you're going to start up a business, you will spend a ton of money on capital goods, which is called the overhead cost. If you are going to expand your business, you will need to buy more, bigger, and better capital goods as well. Countries and governments can support startup businesses and growing businesses by making loans available to buy all those capital goods. Finally, human capital means investing money on training people to do their jobs better. A few years ago, your teacher, Mr. H, went back to college to earn a second college degree, a master's degree, in education. My school and district loved me for getting more education because it meant I would be a stronger teacher than before. They demonstrated their enthusiasm for me going back to school by helping to pay for part of my college tuition and by giving me a $5,000 raise when I finished. This is common in many businesses. Employees who get extra training or education get raises because they become more valuable to the company when they can do their jobs better. Hopefully, with all of these 5 plans put in place, my country of Pine Moria will start raking in the Hofbucks. So what? How do the economic choices affect people's standard of living in Southwest Asian countries? We are now going to compare 3 Southwest Asian countries, Israel, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia, on how they're working to improve their economies using these 5 categories: literacy, human capital, capital goods, natural resources, and entrepreneurship. Literacy rate is in the high 90s percent-wise in each of these countries, but human capital investment shows a more telling story of these 3 countries. Israel is in the top 25 worldwide in human capital investment and is probably rising up the list as they continue to pour investment money into educating workers. Turkey may currently be rated higher on the investment list than Saudi Arabia, but the country will likely be dropping down the list as they have deprioritized human capital, while Saudi Arabia has recently begun prioritizing education more and more. This has become increasingly important for the Saudi economy as the oil industry requires highly educated individuals to run. While oil resources have been well invested into over the past century, the Saudi economy would do well to diversify their investments by attempting to grow other industries as well. Israel and Turkey have diversified their economies to focus on areas like technology, textiles, and manufacturing because of their lack of natural resources. And they have also done the most to make entrepreneurship easy, as starting a business is simpler and quicker than in Saudi Arabia. Now what? What am I going to do with this information? I was in an economics class years ago, and the professor made the point that there are 3 types of people: those who spend every cent they can, those who save every cent they can, and those who invest every cent they can. Of those 3 categories, you can see the mental process about how people go about their money. Some people are only concerned about their finances right now, and don't consider the future, just hoping the money will be there when they next need it. Some people are the play-it-safe types, budget their money wisely, and put the rest away to make sure they'll be fine in their future, but never doing great. And some people are risk takers with their money, betting it all on the growth of the stock market, but ultimately becoming the biggest winners or biggest losers. Just as everything else we have discussed with this economics unit, the best plan for your personal money is a combination of all 3 types of people. You should invest some money, or put your money to work for you, as some financial types would say. You should save some money, but you should also enjoy the rewards of your hard work here and now as well. Financial planning is a very difficult task that many adults struggle with, which is why many adults seek out advisors for how to handle their money. When it comes to your money and being secure in your future, guessing isn't going to cut it. Wow, so learning about countries' economies is really important for us to understand. I'm glad we learned it today. Are you ready for some review questions? Remembering that literacy rate means the percentage of people in an area or country who can read or write, consider the chart above. Which country would you predict has the highest standard of living? How would a country invest in human capital? What is the expected outcome if a country increases its investment in technology, factories, and machinery? How has the discovery of oil in some Southwest Asian countries affected the economic development of this area? Which type of economic system would have the most entrepreneurs? I hope all of you learned a lot from today's episode of History in a Hoodie about economic systems of the Middle East. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Just kidding, I don't care about that stuff. But do make sure you study this lesson. Bye now.